No one will mistake the fight this weekend for two guys that will be considered all-time greats, as Jake Paul returns to fight Nate Diaz. Now, I thought when Jake Paul fought Tommy Fury, he looked like you would expect a novice boxer to look like, because he seemed a bit behind and he was just kind of winging punches. But then when I look at him against Nathan Diaz this weekend, what do you see? And does Nate Diaz have an actual chance to beat this guy in a boxing ring? Because for one thing, Paul does do, he does have some of the fundamentals, and he is training hard to become a pro boxer.
Yeah, listen, a lot of people poo-poo Paul. Comes from the, comes from the world that he comes from, YouTube world, whatever the hell world that is, But I give him credit. He respected the sport, and he got a trainer, a real trainer. He put time in, put a few years in now, worked his backside off, learned the things, the rudiments of the sport that he needed to learn. Again, respected the sport. And he's a work in progress. He's getting better. And he has raised his game to a certain level where, you know what? He's not that bad. I mean, I'm not getting crazy and putting him in there, with guys that have been boxing for years at a certain level. He's lost his first fight to a boxer who wasn't great, but he was a boxer throughout his whole career. And he wasn't an older guy. So I get it. But it was competitive. It was still competitive. And you got to give him credit. He's fighting all pros. Yeah, older guys, MMA guys that aren't necessarily great strikers. Their strength is more on the grappling, on jiu-jitsu, on the floor. But they're still pro athletes. They're still pro fighters. They still have this, that they can go into an uncalm arena and be calm. That they can put the fear and all the things that can paralyze other people, put it to the side, and they can go and find a way to get to you. He's dealing with those guys that have a PhD in that. He hasn't gotten a PhD in that yet. Nate Diaz has a PhD in that. And because of that PhD, you can't count Nate Diaz out because of that mental resolve, that realm that is his realm, that he knows how to find a way, not to be deterred, not to give in any way, not to be compromised. People are compromised when they get into that environment. And that's one thing. He doesn't get compromised, Diaz. So he has that going for. But I agree with you. I think I'm picking Paul to win a fight. And the reason I'm picking him to win a fight is he has developed himself enough. And I'll make it real simple. He throws straighter punches than Diaz. How's that for you, Daniel? He's got the straight jab. I think that can control Diaz on the outside, and he's got the straight right hand. And sometimes Diaz, he breaks the rules. He breaks the laws in the ring where he'll throw wide punches right in front of you. And if you throw a wide punch, you don't need me to tell you. You learned that in geometry, didn't you? Where straight beats round. I mean, even I learned that. Straight beats round. So one thing, Paul has gotten down where he'll throw those punches nice and straight. He's done a good job with that. That and the experience that he's gained where, again, he doesn't fall apart in that domain. He'll never be what Diaz is in that domain, but he'll be good enough to, again, win another fight, I believe.
For Nate Diaz, he's got to be smart enough, but he's got to kind of use his activity and his experience if he wants to get the job done this weekend. If he stands out at range and tries to just box Jake Paul, I think he will have a difficult time keeping up with him. But I do believe that if he tries to overwhelm him, he might give himself a chance. Because one thing that Nate Diaz does is Nate Diaz can fight at a really high pace, and he can keep a really high pace for an extended period of time. I have seen Jake Paul at times slow down as the rounds are going on in his fights. So Diaz would have to really overwhelm him.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.